What will the metaverse tell us about cyberpunk? Microsoft and Disney recently announced their intention to compete with Facebook for control of the Metaverse, the virtual reality reincarnation of Second Life that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to create with his Z-tier acting chops and technology that doesn't exist yet. And, in other news I consider equally important, the scandal-riddled Cyberpunk 2077 is still disappointing players a year after its release. One of the many criticisms of Cyberpunk is that it largely lacked the social commentary once common to the genre. The future it shows you is generically bad, but you're a cool dude who can shoot his way to fame and fortune, so just ignore the problems and enjoy all the pretty lights. It was an aesthetic without serious ideas, only grit as imagined by 15-year-olds who think throwing cyber-dildos everywhere constitutes world building. The cyberpunk genre still produces interesting work, like the game Neo Cab, and there's always been schlock that cruised by on imagery. But it feel like, the big names have given up. The Matrix Resurrections, the sequel to a movie about a man awakening to the fact that there's more to his life than grinding out a corporate job, is encouraging fans to drop $50 on 100,000 NFTs, otherwise known as JPEGs that can be used as Twitter avatars, if you want to advertise the fact that both your priorities and your tastes are bad. Warner calls it a truly unique way to engage with the content. The future cyberpunk posited is turning out just as intrusive as predicted, but also much lamer. Sure, we've got the rampant wealth inequality and non-stop data surveillance, but our technocratic overlords can't think of anything better to do with their power than make drugs uglier and meetings more annoying. Microsoft's big plan for the, God help us, metaverse is to let people use animated avatars on video calls. Finally, employees can be asked to work overtime by a boss presenting himself as some Caillou-looking jackass. In Cyberpunk, the digital worlds of the future are at least useful and interesting, even if the real worlds they're contained in are falling apart. But instead of samurai hackers, in reality, we have guys named Ches, trying to corner the market on links to pictures of hideous cartoon monkeys, and while that admittedly makes it safer to walk down the street, it's also difficult to satirize people who would cut their own dicks off for money, if they were told the severed dong market was booming. The metaverse's intended purpose appears to be to make work more annoying, to ask why you would just send an email, or have a quick phone call when you and your colleagues could strap on a VR headset, and make your corporate cartoon avatars perform an elaborate song and dance. They're working from how can we make the world more future-y? The precise meta products we'll be meta-getting remain to be meta-seen because the hype is wildly outpacing the technical reality, but Facebook and Microsoft seem either ignorant of, or completely uninterested in, the fact that people have lives outside of work. Cyberpunk envisioned a future where corporations lock up their employees in gilded cages, but at least the fictional megacorps don't stoop to making their salarymen enter an obnoxious virtual meeting space for the quarterly budget meeting. The metaverse, a word I'm already so tired of pronouncing, has been called the second coming of Second Life, but if that's the case, then its creators fundamentally misunderstand both why Second Life failed to live up to the hype and why it still continues to chug along for a niche audience today. When Second Life launched, it was flooded by corporate clients who soon abandoned the space, either because they were only interested in garnering easy PR or because Nike realized that people looking at digital shoes while furries had an orgy in the background didn't translate to a lot of sales. Preparing for the metaverse, but what is there to prepare for? Who wants to learn more about whatever the hell CryptoKicks are? Zuckerberg's metaverse demo, his grand vision for the future of technology, showed us a world less interesting than your dentist's waiting room. I think we've largely surrendered to the sheer inanity of the reality that Silicon Valley has built since we accept its convenience as a trade-off for its evil and stupidity. Release a show like Squid Game, about how disparity and debt can dehumanize and kill us, and a month later, the internet will be blanketed with ads for overpriced Halloween costumes ripped from it. Cyberpunk 2077, a supposed tribute to the genre that despaired for a future, was pushed out the door after months of brutal crunch and tie-in offers for $500 chairs. The cyberpunk genre was just another bump in the road the cube's devouring. But the metaverse, a word we hopefully won't see again today, isn't even pretending to be convenient. Try to find out more fun facts on my channel, smash the bell, hit the subscribe button and enjoy.